Good morning and welcome back to the Higher Grounds Podcast's Morning Minute Meditation. Thank you for joining me on this fine Thursday morning. Today, our devotion will be taken out of the book of Deuteronomy and chapter number 10. We're looking at verse number 12 and verse number 13. Let me read for you this morning. It says, "And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul." Verse 13 says, it's an explanation of what to do. It says, "To keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes which I command thee this day for thy good." In other words, what we're doing here, according to the commandments of the Lord has orchestrated it for my good. Not just for his glory, but also for my own personal good. So what are the 5 things that we can learn out of these 2 verses? Number 1, I want us to understand that God is personal with me. The Bible calls him in verse 12, thy God, thy God, thy God. Aren't you glad that God is not just out there somewhere in the sweet by and by, but he is personal with us in our life? Secondly, the position we must have in our own heart in reverence to God. He said you are to fear God. We are to place him in a position of reverence in our life. Thirdly, we're to deal with him according to the path that he has plotted for us. He says here that we are to walk in his ways. I'm to walk according to the ways of the Lord my God. And then I am to passionately love him. Fourthly, I am to passionately love him. And fifth, the Bible says that I am to serve him. In other words, my performance in my life is to be serving toward the Lord. I am to serve the Lord my God with all of my heart, with all of my soul, with all of my mind, with all of my might, and all of my strength. As a result of that, God has promised to prosper my life. He said, I am going to, in your life, make it for your good. What a blessing it is to serve the Lord Christ. May God bless you today. From the Higher Grounds Podcast, God do wonderful things for you in your life, home, and family. God bless.